When Caribbean Coast Guard officers discovered the mysterious blue boat in July 2025, almost completely hidden underwater, they prepared for a routine inspection. Without a flag, without identification marks, it was moving suspiciously slowly. But when they boarded and found only video cameras, sophisticated electronics, and a Starlink satellite antenna inside with no people whatsoever, experts were simply stunned with horror. Before them was the most advanced next-generation unmanned narco-submarine, remotely controlled from some office thousands of miles away. This technological monster became the peak of criminal evolution that has been going on for more than 30 years. Over these decades, drug cartels have created a true underwater empire whose scale boggles the imagination. The history of this empire began as a funny anecdote in the late 80s. A strange object arrived at Florida's shores, a 66-foot homemade metal coffin with a motor. This was the first narco-submarine in history. Everyone laughed at this amateur construction and forgot about it, but no one could imagine what it would become. By the early 2000s, the first serious submarines appeared in Colombian jungles, built exclusively for transporting drugs. They were called low-profile vessels. Built from fiberglass in makeshift shipyards hidden under tree canopies along the Pacific coast. Inside fit 5 people, a diesel engine, and up to 7 tons of cocaine. Crews slept on bags of drugs, breathed through a tiny hole in the roof, and prayed the engine wouldn't die in the middle of the ocean. For this, they called these wretched vessels floating coffins. But the engineering cunning of drug lords was already astounding. Boats were painted blue-green to blend with the ocean. At most, 20 inches of hull stuck above the surface. Radars didn't notice them, satellites either, and the Coast Guard mistook them for floating debris. Producing one submarine cost about $500,000, but the cargo inside was valued at $400 million. The math was ironclad. First trips lasted a week from Colombian shores to Panama or Mexico. But cartels quickly understood the main business rule: if something works, scale it up. In 2008, the U.S. Coast Guard recorded 42 such boats off Central American shores in just 6 months. Analysts calculated that 85 such trips could deliver more than 500 tons of cocaine to the U.S. alone. But the most incredible was yet to come. By 2010, narco-submarines began crossing the Atlantic. In 2019, Spanish Coast Guard intercepted a submarine 4,000 miles from Colombia. Aboard were 3 exhausted men and cocaine worth $139 million. When inspectors went inside, they saw a real hell on water. No amenities, torn wires overhead, engine in a tiny closet, no toilet at all. People slept for a whole month on bare floor between pipes and fuel tanks. However, this amateur construction flawlessly crossed half the planet, remaining invisible to all tracking systems. And then the real technology race began. Submarines grew in size and got smarter each year. Ballast systems for full submersion appeared, video cameras on retractable periscopes, advanced navigation equipment. Some models learned to completely disappear underwater, leaving only a thin air intake on the surface. Such advanced snorkel submarines already cost $2 million, could carry 8 tons of cargo, and became practically ocean ghosts, a fact that stuns experts. In all history, not one snorkel submarine has been caught in open sea, only on shore after unloading. One such boat, named Poseidon, was found sunk in 2023 off Spanish shores, 72 feet long, carbon fiber hull. Nothing was inside, only empty compartments. The crew managed to escape with cargo, leaving a ghostly hull. Then, drug lords made a move that finally stunned intelligence services. In 2020, a 39-foot electric submarine worth $1.5 million was discovered in Colombian jungles. 10 tons of batteries, 2 silent electric motors, underwater range of 34 miles without a single sound. The genius was in details. The submarine had a towing ring. A large ship dragged it across the ocean like an invisible trailer, and at the right point near the coast, unhooked it. In summer 2025, a technological breakthrough occurred that forever changed the rules of the game. That same blue boat belonged to Clan del Golfo, Colombia's largest drug empire. The submarine was controlled via Starlink satellites, equipped with cameras, and capable of carrying 1.5 tons of cocaine to any point on the planet. It was piloted by an operator sitting safely thousands of miles away. Mexican cartels began hiring technical experts and engineers to create unmanned submarines back in 2017. Technology spreads across the planet faster than any virus. Today, underwater vessels cruise all world oceans along classic routes from Colombia through Panama to the US, from Brazil through the Canary Islands to Europe, but extreme directions appeared across the Pacific straight to Australia. In November 2023, Operation Orion, involving 62 countries, discovered this channel. A submarine with 5 tons of cocaine was intercepted 1,240 miles from Clipperton Island. It was headed to Sydney and Auckland. During the operation, they managed to confiscate 225 tons of cocaine, a world record at that time. Except the effect turned out to be zero. A kilogram of cocaine in Australia costs up to $250,000. Almost 6 times more than American prices. With such margins, cartels are ready to cross half the planet. Captain Manuel Rodriguez from Colombian Anti-Narcotics Unit admitted to journalists they discover submarines 3,100 miles from Colombian coast with Australia maps aboard. In 2023, law enforcement intercepted a record 30 narco-submarines, but each successful delivery inspires creation of dozens of new ones. Statistics are deadly. U.S. Coast Guard intercepts about 10% of narco-submarines on the Eastern Pacific route. Today, the drug business has become a high-tech corporation with its own fleet and research departments. Submarines are designed in computer programs, built modularly in different locations. Construction cost reaches $3 million. Meanwhile, criminals build submarines faster than law enforcement manages to study captured samples. Operation Orion revealed a terrible truth. Cartels no longer fight each other but unite into international corporations. Range of modern submarines from Colombia to Australia exceeds 6,200 miles without refueling. Many boats are designed for a single trip. After unloading, they're sunk. But cargo worth $400 million pays for transport loss hundreds of times over. The largest nations with military fleets, satellite systems, and billion-dollar budgets proved powerless against amateur geniuses from the jungle. Drug lords launched an entire fleet of unmanned robots with modern satellite communication, turning the world's military fleets into a pathetic laughingstock.